Wayne, there have been studies to show that basic income might not fix the issues that create poverty. How well do we know whether basic income could be effective in the long term?
Well, certainly all the evidence we have, not only from our study, but also from other studies, the experiment in Dauphin in Manitoba, shows that giving people a floor below which they can't fall economically opens up opportunities for them. And it's not going to solve everyone's problem. There are some people who are going to be challenged to participate in our current labor market, but it's pretty clear that basic income opens doors for a lot more people to become productive in our society, to participate in our society, to have a positive experience. And so I don't think it's not going to solve everyone's problem, but it is going to solve a lot of people's problems.
Bonnie, the Basic Income Project was an estimated at $150 million. That's a big chunk of money. Doesn't matter how you look at it. But the provincial government at the time said it could not support it at the time. What would you say to those who say the province can't afford it?
Well, first of all, ethically speaking, the province can't make profits off of the people's backs who are living in poverty. So enough money has to go towards people who are not meeting the social determinants of health, as was mentioned already. The other thing is that we also need to understand that poverty costs a lot of money. It costs this country about $8 billion a year. So when we're comparing apples to oranges here, when we talk about $150 million to $8 billion, and each tax-paying citizen in Ontario is paying a few $1,000s a year towards poverty. So it's economically a wise decision. And again, just people meeting the social determinants of health, being able to participate in society, happy to go to work, being able to raise their children in an environment where there's opportunities and good experiences is always a good thing.
I want to follow up with you, Bonnie. If social assistance rates were increased, those programs that we talked about earlier, to something of a similar standard, would that provide the same outcomes in your view?
Well, I think any opportunity we have to eliminate poverty is a good thing. Ideally, do we want to stigmatize people on social assistance, ODSP? I'm not sure that those are the right conduits to pay people a living wage or a basic income, but I think that, when people are earning a living wage or a basic income enough to meet the social determinants of health and eliminating poverty, it's a good thing. I think that what basic income would do is eliminate all these different pockets of services and supports that we have and make it more streamlined for people to earn the wage or the income that they should be earning.
Dana, I'm going to come back to you. How is, you sort of shared a little bit about this, but how is life different now than before you were part of the pilot? When you were given hope and it was sort of taken from you?
It's actually a lot tougher than it was before because I knew I had that money to live healthy, and when it was canceled, my mental health took a major nosedive. So, and with the price of everything that's going up at the grocery stores, when I looked at a head of cauliflower for $5.99, the day old, now I feel like I got to fight my neighbors. And you got to be there when the doors open. And it's just, I can't handle it. I honestly can't handle it. It is so hopeless feeling because of the price of what's going on in those grocery stores. And then, like I said, I'm fortunate that I live in housing, but I look at what's going on for rents for people and where they're expected to live. How are they supposed to afford this? The hopelessness has been added major layers, because everything just keeps going up. And my income, they say it did increase. I went from 6 something, and I'm sorry, I don't remember the exact numbers, to now 700 and something. With basic income, I'm still earning less than what I was given on basic income. I live off of something 700 and some dollars a month. God forbid that I need to go and get polysporin or antihistamines or a new bra. Just even laundry. I go to my daughter's so I can get caught up on laundry, because remember, I steal from Peter to pay Paul, and Paul doesn't have it left to steal back from. So I do my level best, and it just, yeah, it's hard. It's tough.
All right, we have a couple more minutes. Stephen, I do want to get some updates from you. In terms of this case, how much longer will this case be in front of the courts? And more importantly, what's the most important message that you want people to take away from this claim?
Good questions. I mean, cases like this take years. So I can say years. It's taken 5 years and one appeal and back to the Superior Court just to get certified. So now we're into a whole other process where we get government documents, we get government witnesses, we get to learn a little bit more about what happened on the inside. And so that just takes time. What's the most important takeaway? I mean, we've heard from the other guests about the importance of basic income writ large and so on. For the legal side of things, I think the important takeaway is when a government makes a promise to individuals in solemn form, in this case, signed agreements, is what we allege, I think society also has to accept or expect, that government's going to keep their promises. And in this case, I know it was change of government. I get that. Governments change hands. Governments change policies, and that's all fine and good. But promises in exchange for drawing people into a program like this is another matter. I think we think and expect our governments to fulfill their contractual obligations. From a lawyer's standpoint, from a rule of law standpoint, from an accountability standpoint, that's the big takeaway legally.
All right, speaking of government, we also wanted to let people know that we did reach out to the Minister of Children, Community and Social Services to join us and for a statement, but didn't receive a response in time for this discussion. All right, Dana, I have about 30 seconds left, and I know that's probably not enough time for the question that I'm going to ask you, but what would you like to say to those who may not know the impact that basic income had on your life?
Ooh. I got to have quality time with my family. I got to experience being financially secure and being able to budget and not have the shame. And I felt the stigma was gone of poverty, low income. It felt removed. And that was a very empowering feeling that I could take control over my life and where it was going. With the basic income, I had an opportunity to map out my own future.
The Agenda with Steve Paikin is made possible through generous philanthropic contributions from viewers like you. Thank you for supporting TVO's journalism.